Let me say something very clearly. If you are still solving CSAT using formulas, you are already late because UPSC has changed the game. From 2020 to 2025, they have silently removed direct questions and replaced them with hidden systems. If you see the systems, you will solve in 30 seconds. If you don't see the systems, you got stuck. You get stuck and lost the paper. Today, I'm not teaching you the percentages and ratio hybrid system. I'm showing you how UPSC actually thinks. Why? Because CSAT is not maths. Today, I'm not teaching. Let me give you a reality check. That is, most aspirants, even after solving 1000 questions, still fail CSAT. Why? Because they practice topics, but UPSC asks patterns. They improve speed, but UPSC tests recognition. That is pattern recognition. And in the exam hall, you don't get time to think twice. You either see it instantly or you miss it. So, CSAT is not an allergy test, it is a recognition test under pressure. Today, I'm not teaching you percentage anymore. I'm showing you how UPSC hides percentage inside real world systems. If you look at the 2024 and 2025 papers, the direct calculate X percent questions are dead. They have been replaced in the hybrid systems. In this way, CSAT is not cleared by solving more, it is cleared by choosing better. So that is why let's decode the Metis systems using verbatim of previous year's questions. So let us move into the systems. For this, we are classified few systems like 5 systems to teach percentage for our teaching convenience and understanding convenience. So that is why we are moving to the system number 1, that is the layered filter system. This is also called the Metis grid system. For this, we have taken one question from CSAT 2021. That is the question like this. In a class, 60% of students are from India and 50% of students are girls. If 40% of the Indian students are girls, then what percentage of foreign students are boys? This is the percentage plus conditional ratio system. So in this, UPSC creates layered percentages. We have to filter step by step. But students draw circles and get confused. That is why they lost time. When the question gives you percentage of a percent across different groups, stop using circles. They overlap and create mental clutter. For this, we use this Metis grid system. What is Metis grid? Think like an Excel table in your head. So let us assume 100 students. For that matter, UPSC says 60 are Indian, 40 are foreign, 50 are girls, 50 are boys. Now filter. 40% of the 60 Indians are girls. So what is that number? That is 24. If total girls are 50 and 24 are Indian, so then remaining 26 must be foreign. Total foreigners are 40. 26 are girls. So 14 are remaining 14 are boys. So what is the result here is 14 by 40, that is 35%. Then what the percentage of foreign students are boys? So we have to finally take 14 by 40. This is the system. So 35%. So answer is 35%. The grid is your shield. It turns a confusing word problem into a simple logic puzzle. So you have to do grid system, filter step by step. That is why it is most important. Next, we are moving to system number 2, that is the successive base shift. This is also called as the step ladder system. What is step ladder system? For this, we have taken 2024 CSAT question, that is piece salary is 20% of piece salary. P piece salary is 20% lower than Q's salary, which is 20% lower than R's salary. So by how much percent is R's salary more than P's salary? This is the actual question. First of all, we have to identify the system. The system is percentage to ratio conversion. This is price change system. We have to identify the first thing after reading the question, that is percentage to ratio conversion system. Chain percentage equal to convert to ratio immediately. This is the theme. This is the first thing we have to do. Again, another question taken CSAT 2022, that is the increase in the price of certain item was 25%. Then the price was decreased by 20% and then again increased by 10%. What is the resultant increase in the price? Firstly, certain item was increased 25%. Firstly, and then decreased by 20% and then again increased by 10%. What is the resultant increase in the price? Net increase. So what is the system here is successive percentage change. This is also. In this, UPSC tests base shift. What is the base? Not direct addition here. This is step ladder system. Most students do this like do this 100 to 80, 80 to 60. This is the wrong. Percentages are not additive. You cannot say plus 25% when increase and minus 20% equals plus 5%. Why? Because every change creates a new base. First, first of all, if increase 25%, then become 125%. That is the base. Then 20% decrease. What is that 125% of 20%? Like that, not 100%. So base is changing. We have to identify this because every change creates a new base. Start the end base. Assume R equal to 100. Q is 20% lower than R. So that is 80. P is 20% lower than Q. So most people think here 60, but 20% of 80 is 16. So P equal to 64. The difference between R and P is 36. The result 36 by 64 into 100, that equal to 56.25 percentage. What is the final question? We have to final statement. What is the resultant increase in the price? And by how much percent is R's salary more than P's salary? This is the question. Answer is 56.25%. We have to respect the base. In the UPSC world, 20 plus 20 is never 40. This is the step ladder system. We are moving to system number 3, that is compounding structure. This is also called as variable control. Let us take in by CSAT 2025 question, that is commodity price P and Q. This is the CSAT 2025 question. What is the question here is the price P of a commodity is first increased by K percent, then decreased by K percent, again increased by K percent, and again decreased by K percent. If the new price is Q, then what is the relation between P and Q? First of all, we have to identify the system, that is percentage to repeated change system. This is called repeated change system. UPSC tests compounding effect, not simple addition here. UPSC here has moved to variables. They are testing if you recognize the structure of algebra hidden in math. So for that we have to do is don't use the numbers. See the pattern. What is that pattern? Here is 1 plus k by 100 into 1 minus k by 100 is just 1 minus k square by 10,000. Since the cycle repeats, we have to square it. Cross multiply the denominator 10 power 4, which squared becomes 10 power 8. The result here is 10 power 4 minus k square and whole square. So q into 10 power 8. This is the equation here. So UPSC is hiding a simple a square minus b square formula inside a query word problem. So don't calculate, recognize the structure, recognize the system here. Then we are moving to system number 4, that is inverse pivot. This is also called as the balance scale. In this balance scale, we are taking CSAT 2020 question, that is men and days question. Question like this way: a certain number of men can complete a piece of work in 6 days, where k is a natural number. By what percentage? By what percent should the number of men be increased so that the work can be complete in 5k days? 5 days. 5k days. So here is what is the system. First of all, we have to identify, that is ratio plus work plus percentage system. So for this, UPSC converts time into inverse ratio, then percentage. So this is the balance system. If time goes down, efficiency must go up, but the ratio is inverse. Days ratio is 6 is to 5 here. The men ratio must be flipped, 5 is to 6. So inverse ratio is here. An increase from 5 to 6 is a 1 unit jump on a base of 5. So what is the result here is 1 by 5 equal to 20%. Whenever two variables multiply to give a constant, use the flip ratio. It is the fastest shortcut in CSAT. Whenever two variables multiply to give a constant, use the flip ratio. It is the fastest shortcut in CSAT. And when time goes down, efficiency must go up, but the ratio is inverse. This is also have to remember in your mind. And we are moving to system number 5, that is dependency trap, variable versus value. For this, we are taking CSAT 2025 question, that is Team X scored a total of n runs in 20 overs. Team Y tied the score in 10% less overs. Had team Y's average run rate runs per over been 50% higher, the scores would have been tied in 12 overs. How many runs were scored by Team X? This is the actual question. First of all, while reading the question, we have to identify the system. What is the system here is percentage plus ratio plus rate hybrid. UPSC hides percentage inside real world language. We have to identify this. UPSC loves to give you relative data and ask for an absolute value. This is the ultimate trap. Here, Team White ties in 18 overs. If rate is 50% higher, they tie in 12 overs. So n equal to 2 into 1.5 r equal to 18 r. Both equations are same. You have no anchor number here, no total runs, no fixed rate. If the data only describes the ratio and never gives a starting value, the answer is cannot be determined. Stop forcing math where there is only logic. So the answer should be like this only, cannot be determined. This is a classic dependency trap. UPSC gives relative information but never gives an anchor value. So there is no way to find the actual runs here. We have to understand here, no anchor equal to no answer. This is the trap here. So we are moving to next step, that is exam hall control system, that is also called as the traffic light system. What is the system here is, now how do you use this on the May 24th 2026? Let's take a green light, direct ratio or simple base shifts. This has to be solved in less than 45 seconds. This is called as green sector, green light system questions. Yellow light questions, those are layered grids or when overlaps. This has to be solved in less than 90 seconds. And red system. These are long calculations or complex variable dependencies. Skip these type of questions. Come back only if you need the marks in the second round or third round. So Now look at what you just saw. These were not different questions. Then what? These were systems, and UPSC will keep repeating them in the exam hall. You will not remember solutions, you will remember patterns, and that will decide your result. This is also called as pattern recognition. If greater than 60 seconds, the this is bad decision. Move forward. Control attempts. You have to do that thing only. You don't waste the time with a single question. All questions carry same marks. So you have to choose better questions rather than red red system questions like long calculations, etc. In CSAT, numbers are nice. In CSAT, numbers are nice. Patterns are signal. If you change numbers, you will run out the time. Run out of time. If you don't chase numbers, because time is limit. If you see patterns, you will control the paper. If you see numbers, you are an aspirant. If you see patterns, you are an officer. Master the pattern. Control the system. Most students fail CSAT not because they don't know maths, but because they don't see the pattern. From today, stop solving questions, start recognizing patterns. I have prepared a Metis system cheat sheet with 25 more system based questions for you. Master the pattern, control the exam. I am Niranjan Ankilla. I will see you in the next master class. Thank you.